Hi everyone. If you looked at part 1 of my series for solving quadratic inequalities in one variable, I talked briefly about using a shortcut, and it was when we had a greater than situation, greater than 0. In this case I got less than or equal to 0, so let's go ahead and solve this. X squared minus 6x is less than or equal to 0, so first factor it. There's a greatest common factor, the x. X times the quantity of x minus 6 is less than or equal to 0. And what that means is, this x means that one of my, I like to call them tipping points, is equal to 0. And this is going to tell me that x equals 6 will be the other tipping point. Put them on the number line here. One tipping point's at 0, another one's at 6. So my possible intervals for my answer are going to be from negative infinity to 0, and I'm going to have a bracket here because of my less than or equals to. So we 0 bracket, and then my middle interval will be 0 to 6, both with brackets. And then my third interval is going to be 6 to infinity, a bracket on the 6. And again, infinities, you never reach infinity, so they'll get parentheses. I can tell you right now what my answer is going to be. My answer is going to be this middle interval. Now, how do I know that? It's that shortcut that I mentioned in that earlier video. If you're dealing with two factors, and I got two factors, the x and the x minus 6, and both factors are just raised to the first power, okay? So it's not like x squared or x minus 6 squared or cubed or whatever. They're both getting raised to the first power, and I got two factors. Then your answer will either be the two outside intervals or it will be the inside interval, okay? In this case, it'll be the inside interval. How do I know? It's because it's less than or equal to. If it's less than or equal to or less than, it'll be the inside interval. If it's greater than or equal to, it'll be these two outside intervals. Now, prove it? Sure, I'll prove it to you. Let's test them. I'll test a point inside this guy. Negative infinity to 0. We'll try x equals negative 1. I'll plug it into the factored form here. Negative 1 times the quantity of negative 1 minus 6. Is that less than or equal to 0? Well, that's negative 1 times the negative 7 trying to be less than or equal to 0, which is 7 trying to be less than or equal to 0. That's false. See, so that interval did not work. Well, let's test an interval between 0 and 6. I'll try 1. So 1 times the quantity of 1 minus 6. Is that less than or equal to 0? Well, that'll be 1 times a negative 5 trying to be less than or equal to 0. So that's negative 5 is less than or equal to 0, and that's true. So that's going to be in the answer. Now let's try between 6 to infinity. Let's test x equals, say, 7. Right, again, I'm trying to pick points within these intervals that are as close to 0 as possible. I don't want to use the actual 0.6 here because I already know 6 is going to be included somehow, so that's going to be redundant trying to pick 6. All right, 7 times the quantity of 7 minus 6. Is that less than or equal to 0? Well, that's 7 times 1, trying to be less than or equal to 0. That's false. So you see, my middle interval is going to be my answer. So the little shortcut worked for me here. Again, that only works if you have two intervals, right? Or two factors with a 0 on one side and two factors on the other, and both factors raised to the first power, okay? If it's squared or to the second or third power, all bets are off, and I'll probably put another video together that addresses when that happens. In fact, that's going to be part 3 coming right up.